Welcome to Wildcat-TV. We are going to be sitting down with our superintendent, Dr. Penrod, and asking him a few questions. Welcome, Dr. Penrod.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Who or what sparked the idea for their career academy and using the Larwill campus?
Yeah, there were a lot of different things that went into that. As you know, the district had shut this building down as a middle school, and it became a central office, but it's a pretty big building. It's a very nice building. The custodians over the years have done a good job taking care of it, and so we kind of had to figure out what we were going to do, because this is still an asset to our community. It's it's paid for by tax money, obviously, and to have it sitting empty seems a little somewhat not responsible, I suppose. Yeah. So we knew we had to do something there, and then on the other side, we were kind of talking to different entities around with manufacturers and businesses and stuff. And when we talked to the 80/20 Foundation Trust, they were interested in promoting manufacturing in particular, and entrepreneurship, and sales and things like that. And so then we started hearing from manufacturers, like, we can't hire people fast enough, and when we do, we have to spend 6 months training them, and it's difficult to get them in and get them trained and everything. And so we kind of through those discussions, we said, well, as a school, we can train your employees. We just need equipment to do it. And so kind of out of those conversations, we ended up with a state-of-the-art manufacturing and advanced manufacturing facility. And then and that kind of drove, as you can see, that's kind of the focal point of the building. But but that kind of drove everything else. Like, well, if we're going to do that, maybe we should have business classes out here to promote those kinds of things. And if we're going to do that, maybe we should have agriculture out here, because there's 100 and some acres out here.
It just makes sense.
Right. And so it just kind of all flowed together. And the way Mr. Lewis and his staff have set this up with the biz or the agriculture on one side and everything else on the other, it's worked out real well.
Yeah. All right. My question is, what do you think about the most recent updates with our school, like the new classrooms and the new paint and everything?
Yeah, I could not be happier with that. Like, clearly this was a middle school, obviously, and you kind of had that feel of a middle school maybe 6 months ago, and you walk in now and it's nothing like I wouldn't necessarily recognize it as a middle school even.
Right,
That front entrance is certainly dramatic, and then everything else has been upgraded. Just really is impressive, and like I said, state-of-the-art type of stuff. I can tell you, our special ed director, Mr. Lehman, he has a friend that works at Purdue. He's an engineer there, and he's sending pictures of our stuff, like our building, and specifically the machines in there. And he said, "Where is that? What business are you?" And he said, he goes, "Well, where do you think it is?" And he said, "Well, it's got to be a pretty wealthy business, because those are brand new machines, and those are expensive." And he said, "I'm at my school." And the guy was like, "There's no way." Well, then you start looking at some of the other stuff, like this particular equipment in this room, and the ag equipment and that kind of thing. And it's just really nice to be able to provide an opportunity for students to learn on stuff that they'll learn on, or that they'll be using when they get out of school.
Yeah. My last question I have for you is, what is your vision for the whole academy?
I think the purpose of K-12 education, in my opinion anyway, is to get students ready for their next step, and whether that's college or career or military or whatever it might be. And I think for a long time we've told people they had to go to college.
Yeah.
And you don't. I mean, frankly, you don't. And so that's not for everybody. It is for some people, but it's not for everybody. And so the vision around this is to prepare kids for whatever's next. And so in some cases that might be college, that might be a career. And we just want to make sure that kids are prepared as they can be when they leave here to do whatever they want to do next. And we'll feel like that's success for us.
All right. My final question is, what are you most excited for the academy?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like picking your favorite child, right? I think what I see the most, like, I don't know that I would pick a program. I would say what I see the most is what I really look forward to is the day in April or May or whenever it's going to be, when people graduate from here and go on to get jobs. And I think they kind of got it set up where we saw it in the union, the old cafeteria. you could do like a signing day where you sign to go to your job.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And I think that's what I'm most excited for is to see what students do when they get out of here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
My question for you is, how was the money for the academy raised?
Yeah, good question. We, as you probably heard, we got a grant from 80/20 Foundation Trust. We got the first part of that was $400,000. The second part of that was $2,433,000 and change. And we've got about $49,000 from the Whitley County Community Foundation to kind of like seed money, I guess you'd say. So that's what started this. Bought a lot of the equipment, that kind of thing. And then the way we'll sustain that, these types of courses generate dollars from the state of Indiana, and so they recognize they're more expensive to conduct because of the equipment, because of some of the stuff that students use during these types of classes, and so they give us more money for those classes, and so that'll help to sustain the program going forward. And so one thing I think is important is, and I know this is maybe not necessarily for this particular class, but our tax rate is going down, and while we're still putting this particular program together. And so I want to make sure everybody understands the Career Academy is not, increasing tax rate. We're not charging people more on their property tax to start this or to keep this going. This is just part of our normal business, so to speak. It's not any additional tax.
My question is, what was it like hiring new staff for this?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, anytime you get to hire people, it's a good time because you can kind of see their vision and stuff. But and I was involved in second interviews, third interviews, that kind of thing. Mr. Luce did the first round with either by himself or with his team. But it was interesting to see because you've got a blank slate. You can do basically anything you want. So, when you're hiring a teacher to a school that exists, you kind of have your curriculum set to a certain extent, and you have some freedom to do some stuff. But when you're hiring people for here, it's nobody's done this before, and so we don't hear. I taught math this way 2 years ago, or this is the way I taught English language arts 3 years ago because nobody did this before. And so it was kind of a selling point or a recruiting thing for us. We could say to a potential teacher, like, come work here, and this is how things look, and you'll have freedom to do, whatever you need to do because it's just a blank slate. And so it was pretty exciting. I mean, it's always pretty exciting, but this starting a new school is really cool.
A brand new start.
Yeah, yeah.
So, why did you decide to partner up with the 80/20 Foundation?
80/20 Foundation has 6 things that they are allowed to donate to. When you, I don't know a whole lot about this particular aspect of things, but when you start a foundation, you have to kind of declare what you're going to fund, and they picked these 6 things: manufacturing, sales, entrepreneurism. I can't remember the other 3. So. When we started talking to them, we fit into like the vision for this particular facility fit well with what they can fund, and so they said, basically, we need to help industry around here get workers, and we said, yep, that's what we want to do, and so they made it so we could, or we fit into what they can fund basically. So, and then they obviously very generous, almost $3 million with their gift, and so we certainly would just take that and make that go as far as we can, and we appreciate their help and their support.
$3 million is quite a kickstart.
Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah, and I think that's I've been told that's one of the largest gifts around here, like in forever. So I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's true. I think it's certainly one of, if not the largest. But yeah, $3 million is quite a start.
Yeah.
My question for you would be, what are some of the future opportunities for the Career Academy?
We've talked about quite a few different things actually. Enhancing construction and getting into HVAC and plumbing and that kind of stuff. We've talked about diesel mechanics. We've talked about small engine repair. We've talked about CDL license. Let me think. Those are the ones that we kind of hit the forefront. Until recently, we last week I think had a meeting with some people in Alabama, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, about IT in our facility, and so that's a big. Obviously, you guys know that it's a big market right now, and they will help us to kind of capitalize on that. So we'll see how that plays out, but we think that'd be a big one.
Sounds good.
My first question is, what course at the academy are you most interested in seeing grow?
Well, let me think. I would say, anytime we can grow any programs, I certainly think that's important. The one I just left a meeting not too long ago about construction, though, and so that's kind of on the top of my mind right now. Apparently, America used to build like 1.6 million houses per year, and right now they build 800,000 houses per year. And the construction industry says that's because there is a lack of people to do those jobs, and so there may or may not still be demand for 1 million, 1.5 million, 1.6 million, whatever houses, but the industry can't keep up because they don't have people to do the jobs to create those houses. And so I always want to see every program grow. I think that's good for our students. I think that's good for our school, good for our community. And but off the top of my mind, those are the statistics I just heard like 2 hours ago. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm thinking about right now.
All right. What made you want to join the Whitko community?
When this job was open, I thought it was a good job because I like the size of the school. Thought there needed to be there's an opportunity there to improve some things on the financial side of the school, and just thought it was a really good atmosphere. And then after interviewing, I thought those thoughts were confirmed, and that good atmosphere, good people to work with, and just really fit kind of what my personality was, I guess, and what I was looking for, and hopefully that works out both ways.
My second question is, what does the academy offer to students?
Besides the obvious courses, you can list the courses or whatever, I think the academy offers an opportunity for students to see something and do something, be trained on something that they don't necessarily get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think I know other schools offer advanced manufacturing, other schools offer business, other schools offer early childhood education, whatever, welding, etc. But they don't offer it in the way we're offering it, and with the equipment and the technology that we're offering. So I told somebody the other day I'd have been happy when we started this whole venture if we would have had some 10-year-old machine that a factory didn't want anymore, or this kind of stuff that was 3 years old that the TV studio said we're done with it. Mm-hmm. So to have this kind of stuff and the quality that we have, I'm just ecstatic that we have it. But I think it also helps kids to learn and be prepared, because when they get out, they haven't learned on something that's antiquated and 5 years old. They've learned on something that they'll probably walk into their next job and be doing something similar to what we're doing here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
It was nice to get some information about what's been going on and just be able to sit down with you. And since you run everything, hear it from where it came from.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we can do this on a regular basis.
For sure. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty.
Good questions. Good session. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.